Hey,
Hey guys, we're Jack's Treasures. I'm Brian,
I'm Tracy.
and this is our ongoing question and answer series that we are doing on YouTube. We are resellers, a little bit about us. This is Jack. She is our cat, or was our cat. And what we're doing, we are answering common questions that are in the reselling community from either new resellers or like us, even experienced resellers. I always have a lot of questions on reselling. These are all just our opinions. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have a differing opinion or you'd like to make a comment,
Drop
please
it
do
below.
please do so down below. Make sure that you please hit that like and subscribe button. Those are super important to us as we're trying to grow our brand. So today's question is one that we've actually been skirting around for a long time, and we've actually wanted to cover it.
Yeah.
We just haven't had a chance to do so. And what is today's question?
What is a raid train?
Right.
Now, first of all, this question comes into play on live selling platforms such
Mm-hmm.
as For Us Whatnot, also on District, Jamble, other sites like that.
Yeah.
Exists. And before we can get into what a raid train is, why don't you explain what a raid is?
Yeah. A raid. Okay. When you're doing a whatnot show, you have a room count of buyers or people in your room. Uh, for some shows it can be as high as I've seen shows where it's in the 10,000s range.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually a whatnot one where they
They
have a
were giving away
celebrity
a
on there.
car or something
Yeah.
crazy like
They
that.
had like John Cena on it. Others we have seen as low. You could raid with as
Party of
many
one.
people a party of one. Okay. So what you do is with a raid, what you do is when your show is over, when you're done with your show is over, you can end your show, or you can choose to raid another seller on whatnot that's
That
live,
is currently live.
that
Yep.
is currently live. And it could be anybody. You could raid somebody you don't know. You could be a
Mm-hmm.
brand new seller. You could raid into somebody that's an established a thing. You could raid into somebody that you know, like your friend. Now, what happens is your show ends, and all of the people that are in your show, you included, all go into automatically or transferred into the other seller's show.
The
And that's
benefit
called a
of that
raid.
is twofold. Number one, you're bringing more people into this other show
Hmm.
that may potentially be interested in them. So that's
Hmm.
one reason you might raid into a friend, someone that
Yeah.
you want to help boost up. But the benefit is also to you as a raider because your name's going to be displayed up there. Usually the person having a show might shout you out. You're going to get a little pop, which is one reason you might consider raiding into someone you don't know or that is a little bit bigger than you so that you potentially get new followers from it.
Or if you have a lot of people in your show,
Mm-hmm.
rating into a smaller seller to support
Right.
that particular seller. So the first time that we got rated, I actually did not know what happened, and we were doing. I don't even know what we were doing. I think we were doing some video games, and we were rated by my friend Tim, that narrator dude. And my room count went from like I think 6 or 7 or 8 to like over 100
And we're like, what the
instantaneously,
heck?
and I had no idea what happened. So it's really a
This
shock
was a
to your
long time
system.
ago.
Yeah, it was really a shock. It was like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And because it flies through the chat,
Mm-hmm.
that's a window that's opened up on your side. So what is a raid train? Now that we know what a raid is, which is very beneficial to a lot of sellers, sometimes
It can
uh,
benefit either party or
yeah,
both
or
parties.
normally it will benefit
A
both
lot of times,
parties.
especially, we'll try to raid someone that's, that we know that may have a different audience than us that's around the same size as us. And then it feels like we get kind of that dual benefit doing that.
Yeah, another thing that I like to do is I schedule certain shows to raid into certain people. So like my friend Ray, the Nashville Flipper, he does an electronics show. And so I sell electronics also. So what I do is I'll schedule my show before his so that when my show ends, I'm like, okay, guys, I have another electronic show
Right.
that we're going to take all of you guys into. So hopefully you guys can find some more great deals.
Okay. But a
So
raid train, that is taking the concept of a raid and that's making it even bigger.
mhm.
Usually it will be a group of friends or people that know each other on the platform. They'll get together and they'll be like, hey, we all sell a similar product or we want to come up with a theme of shows or whatever, and then we will schedule them one after another, and raid one
So
into each.
on Whatnot, very simply, Raid Train is scheduled raids
Mhm.
at times. So you're actually going to follow a schedule, and normally there'll be a theme or a title to the
Right.
Raid Train.
For-
We're on one
I
tonight.
was gonna say, for instance, today we are in a raid train today. It's a very simple one. It's plush and toys. Everybody who's in this train is all going to be selling plush and toys for
Mhm.
1 hour, and then they're going to raid into the next person. And the idea is that the shows kind of snowball, and each person is going to get more people from the person before them.
Right.
Now we're at the beginning of the train today, so we don't get that push from behind, but we are helping to build the train, to snowball the train into the other buyers.
As Tracy talks with her hands.
I do.
As well as I do too. So with a raid train, what you're doing is there are purposes for a raid train. Okay. And one of the biggest purposes for a raid train is to gain followers and or buyers. Okay. To get your name out there. Tracy and I, and we have told this story 1,000 times, that we were almost on the verge of quitting Whatnot. And what saved us on Whatnot was a raid train.
Yep.
It was Paul the Philly Flipper's raid train. It used to be a Tuesday raid train. He asked us to be on it. Tracy immediately said yes. I had no idea what a raid train was. So there you go. 15 years as a reseller and selling on Whatnot for a year and a half. I had no idea what a raid train was. So we got onto this raid train, and from that we gained followers. We gained name recognition. We gained buyers.
We were asked to go on other raid trains just from appearing on the one.
Right.
Which
it's how you get your name out there. And the more that you get your name out there, the more people that are going to come into your room that could be potentially buyers. Now, in order to turn them into buyers, that's a totally different topic that we're going to be talking about, is the difference between followers and buyers.
Yes.
On any of the platforms, but specifically, and we probably might cover them all. But that's one of the main purposes of having a raid train and being on a raid train and even hosting a raid train. Well, hosting a raid train is definitely to gain followers. And to get it is a lot of work. And another reason to be on a raid train is to make some money. Okay, we are on a raid train just last Sunday called Battle of the Best, and we ran one item, and it was 10 minutes, and we sold our item for $100. So we made $100 in 10 minutes on that raid train. So that was a raid train for us to make some money and to get our names out.
It would have been hard for us to sell that item on Whatnot for that price in just a random show. Yeah. If I just threw it in my show where I'm doing garage sale stuff, it's probably not going to go that high.
Oh,
but the boost from that train helped our product count go up.
And this is the other thing on this. We had the item on eBay for as low as $70. But yeah, we sold it on Whatnot for over 100. So a lot of people will say, and I'm not going to disagree with them, that for the most part, you sell your items cheaper on Whatnot than you do on eBay, which is very, very correct. Okay. But we didn't.
Not always.
Not always.
Okay? So what kind of raid trains are there?
Oh, there are lots of raid trains.
We mentioned being on a plush sale.
Like we're on a plush one right now that we got to mention this. Okay. It's hosted by our friends Ryan and Christine, the Gulf Coast Pickers. Okay? Yes.
I don't even know what I'm saying, but
yes. And they host a raid train, and they host it every Wednesday. So we're on it sporadically because we just don't have a lot of plush and toys to put into that show. But raid trains can be themed out.
We were on one the other day that was called I Need More Space, and it was just sell anything you want. The idea is you're clearing stuff out.
She just hit me in the nose. I have a big nose, and she hit me in the nose.
The idea is that you're just clearing stuff out.
Yes. And we were on a raid train called WTF, which on that raid train, you have to go as what you have to sell as many items as you can in a certain amount of time. In this case, it was 10 minutes. And then we're on one that's called Spotlight.
Yep.
Okay. Where it's garage sale stuff. So you basically are selling anything for 20 minutes.
Now, we've also been on some more crazy raid trains. There's been one where we had to dress like a cow.
We didn't have to, but I did it.
Yeah,
anyway.
You were supposed to.
I did. I had to dress up as a woman one time too. I had to wear a wig.
Yeah. There's been trains where we're not actually selling, that it's just a giveaway train, which that's a lot of fun, and that's completely just to build followers.
Yeah.
There's been trains where we just sell stuff out of our buy it now.
And there's been a raid train where you're not allowed to say the word thank you.
That was fun.
That is a fun one. So look for raid trains. You can find raid trains on Whatnot. I think there's actually a web page.
There's a couple of different people that have websites that highlight the raid trains. The two that I know in particular are CG Boomerang Echo, and it's under, I think, cgboomerang.com. Just look up CG Boomerang Echo on Google. You'll find it.
Yeah.
She lists a lot of raid trains in there, and a site called Visuals, VIZZUALS.com. She also lists a lot of raid trains. So that's a good place to start.
Yeah. Getting on a raid train can be tough sometimes because, like we said, we got on Paul Philly Flipper's raid train.
It's just because we met him.
It's because we met him and he asked us to be on the raid train. I asked him to be on the raid train after that, and he said no because it was full. And so we didn't get back on it until about 3 weeks later. So it sometimes it's tough. Raid trains will fill up, like Battle of the Best, Battle of the Hoodies. That one fills up all of the
Super
time
fast.
and always has a waiting list on it. So, sometimes you got it to it's hard to get on there, but ask people,
That's what I
hey,
was gonna
whose raid
say.
train is this? Oh, this is Gulf Coast Pickers raid train. If you'd like to get on it.
If you are newer to
thing.
Whatnot, or you're newer to raid trains, just ask people that you've made contact with or that you're spending some time in the rooms. Do you know of any raid trains that are accepting new buyers? There's always, or new sellers.
Big
There's
Fish,
always
Little Fish
trains
is one for
that
that.
are geared towards new sellers. Like our friend Cajun Reseller, he's on one coming up next month that is completely for new resellers, and he was able to get on that one, and that should give him a good boost.
Right.
But just asking around. If anyone asks me, I will send them to some people I know that tend to do raid trains and have slots available, or if I know one that is available, I'll suggest this person. So just ask. I mean,
raid trains are really fun because they can be very creative. People make a thumbnail and everybody uses the same thumbnail, and it's a way to support all of the sellers that are on the raid train by having that in there.
But raid trains, as wonderful as they are, there are some drawbacks, I would say, to raid trains.
Oh, there's definitely some that everything's got a good and a bad. Everything has pros and cons. Being on a raid train, you might not make as much money on a certain item because of the fact that you're running things a lot faster.
Yep.
On the raid train that we did, that was WTF Extreme, we had to sell $100 worth of items in 10 minutes, or sell as many items as you possibly can, and the person who sold the most items would win a prize at the end of the raid train. So the person that did is literally running things for 5 seconds. Now, 5 seconds, how many bids are you going to be getting in 5 seconds? Because you have to swipe across, and they do sudden death. Sudden death means it's not going to add any time once that thing goes across. Your average sales cost is $1 to $2 because you're starting things off at $1.
Another drawback to raid trains is that you have a set amount of time that you can sell things. So today, if I'm selling my plush or whatever, I get to the end of the show and somebody wants some more stuff that I ran earlier or wants me to make a bundle, I might not have time to do that because I have to raid on time to that next person. So that can get a little tricky. And in the same way, but reverse, sometimes you're on a raid train and it's a little longer than you want to run. Like, I'm a little worried. I've got to try to find some extra stuff to put in my show today because otherwise
She grabs my stuff.
I'm going to run out of stuff to run today before my hour's up, and I've got to entertain these people, and nobody wants to see me dance.
So she'll grab some of my stuff and run it for $1, like a video game console, and run it for $1. Another thing, and I mean, this is kind of bad to say, but it is a reality. And it is a reality, and it's a fear that we have. You're on a raid train, you get raided by one of the bigger sellers. They bring in 100 people into your room. Okay. Well, when you go on to raid into the next person, all of a sudden it's down to 30 people.
Yeah.
And so we lost people on that train. That's bad for the next person that's following us on the train. Sometimes people will raid the wrong person and that derails the train.
Right.
Everybody is now gone to somebody that is completely different, and it was a mistake. Life happens.
Yeah.
somebody
Sometimes
gets confused of the time. We ran our own raid train. I only do one raid train a year. It's on Veterans Day, and for us, we donate 100% of our proceeds to veterans Stop Soldier Suicide, which Tracy will link down below. That's one of our charity organizations that we're unofficially partnering with, because
They
I'm
don't
going to
know
do
that we're
everything that I
partners
can.
yet.
Yeah, well, they're big, we're not. But somebody gets confused on the time, so they don't go live.
We
have to have somebody ready to go live to take that spot.
We had an issue because of time zones. We gave the person the time in the wrong time zone. It was our fault.
3 times I gave them the wrong time
zone. And
okay.
So
how do you do that?
They weren't on when we thought they were supposed to be, and we wound up having
took the spot, and then we gave them our spot.
Yeah.
Just to hold the train together. So that was another thing. And if you are hosting a raid train, please be in all of the shows,
as many of them as you possibly can.
Right, which is why you have multiple people hosting raid trains.
Have someone like as a backup. Hey, I'm not going to be on from 7 to 9. Is there any way you can cover this and be in there and moderate and things like that?
Yeah. So there's a lot of pros to being on a raid train, making money, gaining followers, gaining buyers.
And the socialization
part of it, and the fun, some of the fun part, wearing a cow outfit on whatnot. And there are some things that are bad about being on raid trains. Sometimes you're on raid trains you're getting raided by somebody that might not like you.
Yeah.
Okay. Happened to us. All right. We didn't get a huge pop on a raid train because the person that was raiding us came on the raid train scheduled after we had already been on it.
And was not a fan for us.
Right. We've had to do it. We had to raid somebody that was the same way. I still tried to give them a good pop because I think it's a good thing to do and support other things. Sometimes the raid train just is a total flop. Like it just didn't go well. Sometimes raid trains are too long. Even the whole raid train is too long. It's a 12-hour raid train. Well, those people that are on at the beginning of the raid train are not going to stick around for the whole 12 hours. Okay,
or it may not be a good fit for you.
Right.
If for instance we were invited to do a raid train selling, I don't know, jewelry, we wouldn't be a good fit for us. We don't sell a lot. We don't have a lot of
jewelry.
The jewelry buyers would look at us and be like, "What?"
So, let us know in the comments down below. What do you think about raid trains? What are your experiences with raid trains? Give us a comment down there below. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Okay, and let us know your opinion.
If you're looking to be on raid trains and whatnot and you don't know where to start, drop me a message. I mean, I'll be happy to try to share some of my resources.
We're Jack's Treasure Trove on Instagram. We are Jack's Treasures on almost every other platform.
I would say if you're fairly new, if the train seems like it's a decent fit at all, try to be on it because you're going to gain those followers and make those connections.
Oh, one other thing. Do not only do raid trains. Yes. Raid trains are designed to get people to become buyers of you for your own shows. They're there to help support and bring the people to your shows that you schedule. I call it a standalone show or on your own show, okay, where you're not relying on a raid train to bring in buyers and things like that. Have those shows, shows scheduled and things like that.
In an ideal world for me, I would like to be doing about 25% raid trains and 75% standalone shows.
Right.
But I mean, it varies from week to week, just depending on what trains.
Because we like raid trains. We like to have fun with raid trains, and we have a lot of inventory. So raid trains are good for us because it helps us to get rid of some of the inventory, whether we make money or not. It's just a means for us to get our names out there, make a little bit of money, get some things, and have some fun. So.
Like, share, subscribe, check out Stop Soldier Suicide, pet a cat, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out.